All right, all right. Welcome in, guys. We are here. It is Sunday, round two of the fantasy football playoffs. I am your host, Pete Nova. You can follow me on X at Supernova38 with two R's. We got a great week ahead of us here, guys. We had some games go on yesterday. We had some games, a game on Thursday. College football was a little bit of a letdown, unfortunately, but yeah, excited for this week, guys. If you had Derrick Henry, if you had Zay Flowers, if you started Mark Andrews, you were probably pretty happy yesterday. Lamar Jackson had, pretty much mostly every Ravens player, if you started them outside of Justice Hill, which if you were starting Justice Hill, you probably had bigger issues. But yeah, a great game in the Ravens one. Nico Collins owners maybe not super happy. Looked like he started off really hot and fizzled out there. Tank Dell unfortunately goes down with an injury, but does score a touchdown, and at least from a fantasy perspective, has a good game if you had to start him. And Travis Kelce and Pat Fryermuth, two guys that I said, yeah, start them this week. Unfortunately, did not have good weeks. But look, if you're gonna die, go die on your sword with your studs. That's kind of what I believe in. Don't get too cute. But we are going to roll into some questions here. Thank you so much for rocking with me on a Sunday morning. Like I said, we got a lot going on. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna get to the questions here. If you are on Twitter, feel free to come on over to YouTube. That's where we'll be pulling questions today. It's just easier for us. It supports the show, and we appreciate you guys coming on over. And yeah, but let's just jump right into the first question here. It is Matt Tate. He said, "Would you start Brian Robinson over Bucky or Brown?" I personally would not. Look, Chase Brown has a tougher matchup this week. He goes up against the Buccaneers, who, Buccaneers have been pretty good against the running back position over the last 4 weeks. Buccaneers are the number one defense against. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Bucky Irving. Apologize. I didn't drink enough coffee this morning, guys. So I apologize for that. But yeah, he gets Cleveland. And Cleveland, middle of the pack. They're giving up right now 20 PPR points on average to running backs over the last 4 weeks. They're middle of the pack, though. When you look at them, they're 16th. So they give up the 16th least fantasy points. And Bucky Irving against the Cowboys. I want Bucky Irving in this matchup against the Cowboys. So yeah, I'm not going to bench Brian Robinson. Eagles are the third best defense to running backs over the last 4 weeks. Albert in here said, "Good morning, everyone." What's up, Albert? Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Jamie, what's up, man? How you doing? And then Stanley, I'll pull your question on Twitter because I appreciate your support. He said Metcalf, Shakir, Thielen, pick two. Yeah, the unfortunate thing with Metcalf, right, is he's in a game that it looks like it's going to rain. The coaching staff did talk up Metcalf this week, and I can understand going with Metcalf just because of squeaky wheel theory, right? We talk about this on the show. Hoping that he can get going, and it's a good matchup. Then you have Shakir and Thielen. Shakir gets a good matchup against the Patriots. Shakir's been playing very well over the last few weeks, and Adam Thielen gets Arizona. I think for me here, I think Thielen has the least amount of upside out of all these guys. I think Metcalf is the most risky player. I'm okay pairing Metcalf with Shakir in this spot. If you're going for upside with Metcalf and then a high floor with Shakir with some solid upside. Shakir's been playing well too. So that would be my advice. If you really don't want to take the risk, then yeah, Shakir and Thielen are fine starts as well, in my opinion. But yeah, it just depends on your risk tolerance and understanding that if you roll out DK, there is a chance that he doesn't have a good game. But Geno Smith off the injury report, which is encouraging. Cliff said, pick two, PPR, T. Higgins, Juwan Jennings, Cooper Cup. Yeah, Cooper Cup for sure in this spot for me. I think with how things have gone, last week was an anomaly. I mean, Cooper Cup had played really well, outside of that game. So I think you got to start Cooper Cup. Then between Juwan Jennings and T. Higgins, I mean, T. Higgins gets the Browns at home. Bengals need to win this game. Now, T. Higgins was on the injury report, but he is going to play. And then you have the 49ers and Juwan Jennings traveling to the Miami Dolphins. They'll be playing in much warmer weather. And so this is a toss up on the Higgins and the Juwan Jennings side. You do risk the possibility of Higgins getting injured and leaving the game with his injury status and also just his history of leaving games early. But Juwan Jennings, I mean, this 49ers offense has been really crappy. And I don't know what to make of Juwan Jennings right now. I think I would go with T. Higgins just because right now Joe Burrow is balling. He's playing very well, and this team is looking to play for a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas against a divisional opponent like the Browns. So yeah, give me T. Higgins and Cooper Cup. Um, Matt Tate said start three: Puka, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Juwan Jennings, and CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I mean, Puka is the obvious start here. Then it gets a little more dicey. I think CeeDee Lamb for sure. His volume has been extremely high with Cooper Rush at quarterback, and I expect that to be a high game. It's a high implied point total. I think it's one of the higher ones on the week. I don't have it in front of me. And then it really between Garrett, Drake, and Juwan Jennings, and all these guys pose risk. I mean, Drake London has Michael Penix at the quarterback position as a rookie, making his first start. Garrett Wilson, though, I mean, I think you can make the case. It's definitely between Garrett Wilson and Drake London. Garrett Wilson gets a good matchup against the Rams, and Drake London gets a good matchup against the Giants. But the difference is Drake London is the number one target on his offense, whereas Garrett Wilson right now is not. When you look at the matchup here, you know the Rams have been better against wide receivers over the last 4 weeks. They're seventh hardest against wide receivers. They give up 29 points to the position on a weekly basis over the last 4 weeks. And then when you look at the Giants, they've been more favorable. They're 13th. I mean, it's not a substantial difference. I mean, we're talking 2 points here, 31.5 compared to 29.58. So I think personally for me, I'm going to go with Drake London here. I just think with a rookie quarterback, I think they'll rely on, he's going to rely on that connection and Drake London to kind of help him out and be a safety blanket. So to me, I'm going to go with Drake London, less mouths to feed in that offense at the wide receiver position. Um, Michael said, starting Kyron Williams, Bucky, St. Brown already started Lad. Need my flex Walker or Adam Thielen? Yeah, give me Walker. He's off the injury report and he's going to get the volume. So to me, Thielen doesn't have. I like Thielen this week, but he doesn't have like boom upside, and so Walker has more of a chance to boom, in my opinion, even if it's a tough matchup. And at the same time, too, we know, in my opinion, people may tell me I'm wrong with Charbonnet and how well he played. Kenneth Walker is going to get at least 12 touches, in my opinion. And so I like the volume there. You started off solid with Ladd. He had 15 points in PPR, and the rest of your lineup is solid. So I'm going to go with Walker in this spot. Tyler Sperry said thoughts on Seattle weather, aka kickers. Yeah, I don't really want to start kickers in that Seattle game with the weather and how things look over there. If you could avoid, for sure. And we do have a super chat from Emiliano. And just as a reminder, and I appreciate you sending this in. If you send in a super chat, guys, if you're new to the show, I will make it a priority to get to your question and pull it. And so you don't have to wait. And you can get out of here and do whatever chores you got going on a Sunday, and you don't have to watch me blabber on for the next hour and a half. But Emiliano, appreciate it, said, would you start Geno, May, Cooper Rush, or Penix this week? Yeah, call me crazy. I'm starting Cooper Rush. Uh, I I I totally get that it sounds ballsy. I'm starting Cooper Rush over Brock Purdy this week. Cooper Rush for what it's worth, he gets a good matchup against the Buccaneers. And Cooper Rush has been good for fantasy, to be honest with you. I mean, he's had 21, 20, 13, 17, and 23 points. He's going up against the 31st ranked defense to quarterbacks in fantasy. So I would go with Cooper Rush. If you're not willing to take the risk, you might look at, Penix would be the second favorite guy here for me too. And he's a rookie. So to me, if you're willing to risk it with Penix, I'd rather just risk it with Rush because I understand the name value. It's not sexy, but he's been giving us a good floor and he's getting a really good matchup. So I would start Cooper Rush. I know it sounds crazy to go and make that move, but he's been playing well, and he gets a good matchup. So thank you so much for the super chat. Good luck in your matchup. Muhammad said Marv or McMillan. Yeah, look, I mean, it seems like guys we're trying to jam McMillan into our lineups and try to find some ways, and I totally understand it. Marvin Harrison Jr. Is the epitome of boom or bust, feast or famine right now. And he gets a matchup against Carolina that 17th against the wide receiver position, and then you get McMillan against Dallas. But here's the thing. McMillan is still the fourth option in this offense, and that worries me. I mean, Mike Evans, they're trying to get this guy the record, and Mike Evans, I'm going up against him in a couple leagues. I'm terrified. But at the end of the day, he's going to um, he's going to he's going to have to get Mike Evans the ball. Sorry, there was a trade. If you're a baseball fan, it looks like Luzardo to the Phillies, and as you can tell, I'm a Phillies fan. So I don't know what they gave up, but interesting. But yeah, so I'm starting Marv in this spot. I understand it's risky. I would try to find another way to get McMillan in the lineup outside of benching Marv. I mean, Marv has 7 touchdowns this year. He's not a slouch. I understand, given the draft capital, but I'm not. I mean, McMillan's a flex play to me, and Marv is still a wide receiver too, a low end wide receiver too. But I'm starting Marv in this spot. But I understand the hesitancy and the need and the want to start McMillan. Yeah, Clayton Smith with a $2 super. Appreciate it. Said Tracy or Ford. I don't know if he meant like evaluation or if that was a fourth, but yeah, I mean, in this spot, I'm starting Tyrone Tracy. Unfortunately, Tyrone Tracy hasn't been great for fantasy as of late. But to me, you know, Tyrone Tracy is in a spot where, when you look at the last time Drew Lock played, it was against the Dallas Cowboys. And let's take a look at Tyrone Tracy in that game. He had 14 and a half PPR points, 9 carries for 32 yards, 2 catches for 33, and a touchdown. He had Tyrone Tracy against the Saints had 10 targets. Last week he had 4. Like, he's getting targeted in the receiving game. And to me, I understand the Jerome Ford. Look, he's a good play. He looked good. It's nothing about his talent, but I don't know what to make of Dorial Thompson. He has like a 55% completion percentage. I don't know how well that offense is going to move the football. It's a good matchup for Ford. Don't get me wrong. But Tyrone Tracy plays Atlanta. They're not world beaters on the defensive, the rush defense standpoint. So yeah, I would start Tyrone Tracy in this spot. Thank you for dropping in with the super chat. Luke Stins with the €2, I believe, said DST, Bills or Vikings, wide receiver Garrett Wilson or Terry McLaurin. This is actually a lot easier for me now. With my DST rankings, I just dropped them on Twitter, and I made some adjustments here. I have the Bills at number 2 right now, and I actually bumped the Vikings down to 5. I still like the Vikings with the weather and everything else, and I know Geno Smith. People say, well, now that Geno Smith's in, are the Vikings really that good of a start? Geno Smith has almost as many touchdowns as he has interceptions this year. That offense has been very favorable to opposing defenses in fantasy. And so it's still a really good start. But to me, I'm going to go with the Bills. They're at home. And, this is a Bills team that, look, Kansas City won yesterday. Like, I'm not saying that the Bills are worried about losing to the Patriots, but again, a team that's not going. I don't think they're taking their foot off the gas. And I like them in this matchup. So I like the Bills here in this spot, and then I would actually go Garrett Wilson over Terry McLaurin. Look, I think Terry McLaurin could be good, but it's extremely worrisome with how the matchup went last time. Now, keeping in mind, they did, Jaden Daniels did have an injury that he was overcoming. And so, unfortunately, I think that could have affected him in that matchup. He was only a couple weeks off. And to me, Garrett Wilson gets a decent matchup against the Rams. And, the volume's been there for Garrett Wilson. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson in that spot. Thank you for the super chat. John D with another super chat said, Love or Darnold? Yeah, I'm going to go with Jordan Love today. Darnold in the rain. Seattle's defense has been playing well. And to me, I know Jordan Love has blowout potential, but they have to get to the point where they're blowing out the team. And I like other quarterbacks ahead of Love. But in this spot, give me Jordan Love. I like him at home against the Saints defense. I think the Saints put up a little bit more of a fight than people are giving them credit for, but they are huge underdogs. But yeah, I like Jordan Love in that spot. Fred Johnson with a $2 super said, should I start Kyler Murray or Jaden Daniels? Man, I hate this question. I'm not gonna lie to you. These are two guys that should be smashes every week. Kyler gets a better matchup here. Kyler Murray goes up against Carolina. And when you look at Jaden Daniels goes up against the Eagles, and Jaden Daniels wasn't that great against the Eagles last time they played. Now, keeping in mind, Jaden Daniels also was coming off of that injury. And, they are at home this time. They were away last time. And so, yeah, I mean, I would certainly understand hesitancy to start Jaden Daniels in this spot, but yeah, I think it's just one of those start your studs things. I mean, Kyler Murray hasn't been phenomenal in smash matchups. I mean, to me, I'll live with it. I'm starting Jaden Daniels here. Jaden Daniels, even against the Philadelphia Eagles, had 15 points last time. That's not going to kill you. And Kyler Murray, I like Kyler this week, but he, like I said, he hasn't really crushed in smash matchups. So yeah, I think I'm going Jaden Daniels here in this matchup. Sorry, I am just checking a few things. So guys, we have 77 people here on YouTube. If you are new to the show, super chats always take priority, but we will try to get to everybody. I'm probably going to be on for at least another hour and 15, maybe even longer, depending on the show. Please give the show a like and a thumbs up. It really helps us grow and keep things going here. But moving on to Louis Hernandez with the $5 super said, PPR Sutton got me 7.5. Yeah, not a great week. I need start advice. Positions are 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. Jaden Daniels, Darnold, Jefferson, Evans, Thomas Shakir, Marvin Harrison, and then Laporta or Strange. Yeah, so Jaden Daniels over Darnold. Now for the wide receivers, you're 100% starting Mike Evans. You're 100% starting Justin Jefferson, and you're 100% starting Brian Thomas, in my opinion. I know Justin Jefferson, could have a scary matchup in the rain against a good secondary, but you're not benching Justin Jefferson. If you lose your week because Justin Jefferson doesn't, smash for you, whatever. Okay, fine. Then you just chalk it up to fantasy football being fantasy football. But Justin Jefferson got you here, and Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, you don't want to get too cute in these spots. If Justin Jefferson doesn't have a great week, he doesn't have a great week. But you're going to pull your hair out if you put the best wide receiver in football on your bench because you tried to play the matchups with guys like Marv, Jameson, and Shakir, who are all good in their own right. So that would be the three there. And then between Laporta and Strange, I like both of these guys this week. Sam Laporta, with David Montgomery out, it is something to note, from a red zone perspective. Do the Lions start featuring Laporta in the red zone more? Laporta has been playing much better. Red zone targets over, since week 12, he's had 2, 2, 3, and then last week he didn't have one, but he still scored 18 points last week. He had 7 catches for 111 last week. He gets Chicago, who's really bad against tight ends. Give me Sam Laporta in this matchup here. I appreciate you dropping in with the super chat. William Spain with a $2 super said, need to Pollard, Ramondre, Rashad White, Kendra Miller, or Jerome Ford. So, yeah, I'm starting Rashad White in this matchup here. I like him against Dallas, and I know Bucky Irving is healthy and playing, but to me, you got to roll with Rashad White. Even in matchups where Bucky's been healthy, like both of these guys have been eating. So you got to go with Bucky. The tough question here is Pollard or Ramondre. Ramondre gets the Bills. Pollard gets the Colts. And yeah, the Colts run defense looked good against Denver last week, but most run defenses look good against Denver. Now, Ramondre Stevenson gets the Buffalo Bills. They are the third worst against the running back position over the last 3 weeks. The Colts are the fifth worst against the running back position over the last 5 weeks. I'm going to be bold here, and I would go with Ramondre Stevenson, I think. Reason being is that, you look at the workload, and Tony Pollard is injured. If Tony Pollard was healthy, it would be Tony Pollard for me. But with Tajay Spears playing well last week, and Tony Pollard still getting his strong workload. I mean, 13 carries last week, 18 the week before. Then he had 8, but then he had 2 weeks in a row of 20 and 20. These are all rushing attempts, not even including receptions or targets. And Buffalo's run defense is 31st. Like, I think Ramondre could have a decent game in the pass game and maybe score you a touchdown. It is risky. I understand. Normally, I would say Pollard easily, but I just worry about the re-injury, and I also look at Tajay Spears and say, hey, Tajay Spears looked good last week, so there is the possibility that, maybe Pollard re-injures himself and Spears starts to, get a bigger role, or maybe it's more of a split than we initially thought. Gil, what's up, Gil? Said Strange or Hawk, McLaurin or Myers. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jacoby Myers over McLaurin this week. I know it sounds crazy, but McLaurin gets the Myers gets the Jaguars. Jaguars have been favorable to opposing wide receivers. We just saw Devontae Adams, who is Jacoby Myers isn't Devontae Adams, but Devontae Adams just scored at 190 yards against this defense. And then you look at Terry, who goes up against one of the better defenses in football to the wide receiver position. So that worries me. And so I'm going to go with McLaurin, with Myers in that spot. And then Stranger Hawkinson. Yeah, I mean, I like Strange a lot this week. When you look at Hawkinson, he's going to be playing in the rain against a tough defense. I'm going to go with Strange here. I think both are fine starts, but the target share was awesome for Strange last week, and he gets a good matchup this week. So give me Strange. I'm going to roll the dice there. But I think you're fine going with Hawkinson too. I mean, we've seen Hawkinson do it over a larger sample size, which Strange we haven't, but I'm shooting for that upside in that spot because this is not a stud. I love Hawkinson. He's not a stud this year. So I would go with Strange, but I'm okay going with Hawkinson in that spot too. Brandon Davis, $2 super said Rico or DK, and then Strange, Kincaid, or Kraft. I'm going to go with Rico Dowdle here. DK Metcalf in the rain. There's just too many factors. Gino off the injury report, but there's still risk there. We don't know what that offense will look like, and this is a really good pass rush in the. Just a good team when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback with the Vikings, though the secondary is leaky, and I understand that the thought there. And then you get Rico Dowdle against the Bucks, and look, Rico's been playing well. It's just a fact. Rico's been playing well. It's not a sexy play. It's not the big name. But he goes up against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers have been good against the running back position. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to go with Rico in this spot. Strange, Kincaid, or Kraft. It's between Strange and Kraft for me. There's too many pass catchers in this Bills offense right now. And, Kraft and Kincaid both have blowout potential. I'm going to go with Strange in this spot. And if not Strange, I would go with Kraft. And Zach Ertz is going to play this week. Just saw that notification. Clayton, what's up, man? Said Dobbs, Watson, or Pittman. Wide receiver 2 focus on upside. Appreciate the context there. Big underdog. Okay, so that's good context to give, and I do appreciate that. Look, if you're looking for the boom and the upside, relatively speaking, Christian Watson would be my guy. I know Romeo Dobbs has played well. I like Romeo Dobbs this week, but you get the Saints 27th against the wide receiver position. And when you look at what Christian Watson's done in 4 out of the last 5 weeks, he's had 56 receiving yards or more. Christian Watson's eclipsed 100 yards twice in the last 5 weeks. Romeo Dobbs has touchdown potential, but he doesn't have like big play like that, like Christian Watson does. So to me, if you're an underdog and you're really swinging for upside, it's Christian Watson for me. But I understand the worry there. Christian Watson, for what it's worth, over the last 2 weeks, 26 and 28 when it comes to target share, or targeted percentage of targets on routes run. Apologize. So yeah, I mean, for me, I would go Christian Watson if you're really chasing that upside, but I think Dobbs is the safer play, but you're not looking for safe. We buy homes near you. Said question in the chat. We have a lot of questions in the chat. 89 people here on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. Give me 1 second. We buy homes and let me see. Okay, I have it here. He said standard league. If Pollard plays but isn't 100%, would you start Spears, London, Shakir, Jaden Reed, or Ford? Also, wide receiver 2, would you keep Devonta Smith or swap him out for Shakir? Need upside. If you need the upside, I would go with Devonta Smith here. He's been involved in this offense. He's played really well. Look, A.J. Brown was off the injury report, and I'm still starting A.J. Brown this week, but that did worry me a little bit last week when he went down. Let's take a look. I mean, Devonta Smith coming off of a 100-yard performance on 11 receptions. This is also after the week where, we all said, hey, squeaky wheel A.J. Brown, who did have a good week. They peppered him in the first quarter, and then he kind of came down to earth a little bit. But Devonta had 12 targets last week. So I would start him over Shakir in this spot if you're swinging for upside. I think that game's more competitive. And then Pollard, I would go with London or Shakir in the spot. And I love Tony Pollard, and it's a really, really good spot for him. But I just worry, does Spears cut into that workload, and does Pollard re-injure himself? I mean, he left the game last week. He left the game 3 weeks ago and came back in. And so there is the possibility that he re-injures himself again. And this is a guy that's trying to gut it out right now, and a lot of respect to him. And it's a good matchup. But to me, I'd rather take the risk and swing on London against the Giants with Penix or Shakir. So it would be between Shakir or London. I think I lean London here for upside. But if you're looking for the safer floor, it would be Shakir, in my opinion. but they do have blowout potential. So I would stick with Devonta Smith over Shakir, and it would be London or Shakir. London would be the more boom play. Shakir would be the safer floor play, in my opinion. Austin with a $2 super said McLaurin or Jerry. In this case, I'm going with McLaurin. DTR at the quarterback position for the Browns. He's got like a 50% completion percentage in his career as a quarterback in the NFL. Yes, does Jerry get a nice matchup, and has he been playing very well? Absolutely. But give me Terry McLaurin. There's risk with Terry, and I know I talked about it before, and I do have worries, but I'm not starting Jerry over him with Jaden Daniels fully healthy. They're at home. Maybe we get better than we saw last time with Terry. So I would swing with Terry in that spot, to be honest with you. 105 people on YouTube. This is probably the most live viewers we've ever had. Really appreciate it, guys. I'll definitely stick around as much as I can here. We're at the 30-minute mark. I'll go for at least an hour here. If you guys are still here, I'll continue to answer as many people as I can. Let me scroll up here and get to where we are in the chat. Give me 1 second. Some people have been waiting, but we just had a plethora of super chats, and I just wanted to make sure we got to those. So let's go over to Zero Skills here. And he said, 1 second. He said semis. Yes, let's go. Current 15-point underdog. PPR need one running back, one flex. Patrick Taylor, Kendra Miller, Jalen McMillan, and Devonta Smith. In this point, if you are swinging for upside, it's Jalen McMillan, but there is risk here. You're already probably going with a lot of risk at the running back position. I think I'm going with Kendra Miller here. Miami's run defense has been solid. And to me, I know Patrick Taylor should get the bulk too, but Kendra Miller looked good. They're going to try, he should still get a lot of work. I don't really love the running back situation for you either way. And if you're swinging for upside, yeah, it's Jalen McMillan in this game. I like Devonta Smith as well. I generally prefer Devonta Smith, but to be honest, you're swinging for upside. You're a huge underdog, and Jalen McMillan has a great matchup against Dallas. So to me, I would go with Jalen McMillan. Dallas is 24th against the wide receiver position in fantasy, and Washington's 13th. So if you're swinging for upside, there is risk, but I would go with Jalen McMillan. Thanks for dropping in. Big Nasty said PPR B-Rob, Jacoby Myers, or Rashad White. I'm going with Rashad White here. I like his matchup against Dallas. I know Bucky Irving is healthy, but to me, Rashad White has played really well in those games, even with Bucky healthy. I'm not going to give as much context as I'm trying to get to everybody's questions here. We have 107 on YouTube. Like I said, guys, smash that like button. It would really help us out. I'm going to try to give a little bit less context, and, unless it's a super chat, so that way we can run through some of these questions. Hector with a $2 super. Let me see if I can find your question, man. Do me a favor, Hector. If I can't find it, just resend your question. And you don't have to send a super chat. Just resend your question in the chat. Oh, here I go. I see it. I said, good morning. I'm already down 20. The other day you said to start Adams and Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver twos. Couldn't remember which. It's Adams. Unless you have, I don't know what your other, okay, wait, maybe. Okay. Good morning. I'm already down 20. I couldn't remember who to start in my flex. Breece Hall, Devonta Smith, Thielen, or Myers. Okay. So I know we talked on Thursday. You're swinging for upside here. It's Adams for sure. I'm going with Breece Hall. He's off the injury report. He practiced in full. He's got a good matchup. And you're down 20. You're chasing points. So to me, I'm going Breece Hall and Adams. I wouldn't start Garrett Wilson because you're in this deficit. You're kind of capped. You're not starting three guys on the Jets offense. So to me, I would go with Devonta Smith. I would go with Adams, and I would go with Breece Hall. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go down to Neil. Full PPR Njoku if he goes, or Strange. Yeah, it's Strange for me. Like I said, DTR, it's just I don't really want any parts of that. It's too risky, and he's still dealing with this he's still dealing with this hamstring injury. So to me, yeah, I would go with Strange. I don't want to take the chance that that Njoku re-injures his hammy. So yeah, I'm going with Strange in this spot, especially with the quarterback situation, which I know Mac Jones doesn't sound sexy, but he's been getting Strange the ball. So there's a connection there. And outside of Brian Thomas Jr., that's Strange looks like he's the number 2 option right now in that offense. All right, let's go back up to where we were in just a regular chat, and I'm going to try to rip through these as quick as I can. So just hang tight, guys. Let's see. All right. So we answered Big Nasty. We're down here to Charlie. He said, "Good morning. Wondering your thoughts on PPR. Pick 2, flex, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Jalen McMillan." Yeah, I would go with Rashad White, and I'd also go with B-Rob here. I understand Jalen McMillan is the sexy play. If you're chasing points, I would sit B-Rob and go Jalen McMillan and Rashad White in a higher matchup. But Brian Robinson, for what it's worth, he was he was still kind of banged up with these knee injuries and all these other things. And the last time he played against the Eagles, he had 14 fantasy points, 16 carries, 63 yards, 1 catch, 9 yards, and a touchdown. Over the last few weeks, 21 rushes last week. I mean, the volume is there. So it's Rashad White and B-Rob for me. If you're swinging for upside, I would start Rashad White and Jalen McMillan in their matchups. Thanks for dropping in, Charlie. We do have another super chat from Michael Bridges. He said, "Start 2, please. Swift, Marv, Brian Robinson." Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Swift gets the Lions. And last time that he played against the Lions, he actually played pretty well in terms of he caught a decent amount of passes. I think I would go with Swift in this spot. And then it's really between him and B-Rob. I mean, you know, now that I look at it a little bit more, I would go B-Rob and Marv here, actually. I mean, Detroit, even with their injuries, they're still 6th against the running back position. It's still a good run defense. And, I mean, DeAndre Swift hasn't eclipsed 10 PPR points once in the last 4 weeks. So I would go with B-Rob and Marv in this spot. Thanks for dropping in with your question and the super chat. And then let's see. Bo for Smurf. Sorry about that. Said half PPR start 2, JSN, B-Rob, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I mean, I like B-Rob and Garrett Wilson in this spot. If the rain is not as bad as it's projecting to be, I would prefer to sit Garrett Wilson and go with B-Rob and JSN in this spot. But I would need to see what the weather looks like. So I would just take a look and see what we're projecting it to be. I also think that game is being played in the later slate. Yeah, that's the 4 o'clock slate. You have Garrett Wilson and the Jets playing at 1 o'clock. So you're going to have to make that decision. And you also have the Eagles playing at 1 o'clock. So I would just take a look at the weather, as you get closer. And if it still looks really bad, I would go B-Rob and Garrett Wilson. If it looks manageable, I would sit JSN for Garrett Wilson and B-Rob. I'm sorry. If there was any guy to sit here, it would be Garrett Wilson for JSN if you were going to make that move. But right now it's Garrett Wilson and B-Rob for me. We have Boomer Nation with $2 super said full PPR, BTJ, JSN, or JT at the flex. It's BTJ, baby. BTJ has been played really, really well. No matter the quarterback situation, no matter every week we worry, oh, it's Mac Jones, it's Trevor Lawrence is banged up, it's a good matchup. I mean, this dude, how do you sit this guy? 32 points last week against the Jets secondary, who's 6th against the wide receiver position. Against Tennessee, 5th against the wide receiver position, 16 points, then 18 points, then 13 points in the last 4 weeks. I mean, Minnesota wasn't great, but that was the first game that, Mac Jones played, and it seems like this connection's there. He had 10 catches for 105, 8 for 86 the week before. He's eclipsed over 76 yards in the last 4 games straight. And I mean, the targets are insane, 10, 12, and 14 over the last 3 weeks. I mean, so yeah, you're going B-Rob. Feel confident about that one. Zach Linton said, answer my question in the chat. And Ryan's, let me see where you are, Zach. Do me a favor, Zach, and you may have to resend. Just resend it in the chat, and I will grab it. There's just so many questions here in the chat, and I don't know if I can find you. Let me give it like another second or two here, and if not, just resend it in without the super chat, and I will grab it for you. And let's see if you already resent it. Not yet. Okay, yeah, just resend it in. And Boomer Nation said, "All right, you got me hyped." Yeah, man, feel good about that for sure. And let's go to Noah here, and then Zach, resend in your question, just a regular chat. Noah Young said, "Down 5 points, Marvin McMillan, full PPR." Yeah, I mean, it depends what your matchup looks like. I mean, if you were chasing upside and you're willing to take the risk, go with McMillan. I'm going to lean Marv here still against Carolina. They've been favorable to the wide receiver position. And, I think Kyler gets it going this week. It feels like we say that a lot. Marv is feast or famine, and so is McMillan. So just give me the better player. And honestly, McMillan has to share with Evans. I know that, Kate Otton's out, and I know McMillan's came on strong, but I would still go with Marv. Um, Zach Litton said, Thielen, Mooney, Stevenson, Reed, Kraft need two. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going with Thielen for sure. Mooney, look, after the donut last week, he could have a fucking great week this week. I ain't putting him in my lineup. With the rookie quarterback, I know you could say the same. Oh, well, Drake London, still a rookie quarterback for him. Why are you starting him? Drake London's been able to do it every single week. He is a focal point in this offense. Right now, we don't know what Darnell Mooney's role is in this offense. Now, between Reed, Kraft, Swift, and Stevenson, those are a little tougher, but I am starting Thielen. In this spot, I think I would go with Stevenson against the Bills. I mean, the Bills are really favorable to the running back position. I understand there's blowout potential and there's risk there. If you don't want to take that risk, I would go with Reed. But again, you could also say the same thing. There's blowout potential in that game too. So I would go with Thielen and Stevenson at that point. Thanks for jumping in, buddy. Appreciate you as always. Let me scroll back up to the top. We got a ton of questions, so let me get to where we were. Jesus, so many questions. Appreciate everybody that's here today. 77 people on YouTube here. We had eclipsed 100 at one point. Let me see how many likes we have on the show. 28 likes. 28 likes, guys. Get those likes up. It really helps us out, helps me out, supports us as we continue to grow here at Faceoff. All right, let's see where we were. I think we're here with Emiliano. He said, "Would you guys start Cooper Rush, Gino?" Yes. Okay, so I did answer this already. I understand people might think it's crazy. I'm going with Cooper Rush, if not Penix. But Penix is a rookie quarterback, so you might look at Cooper Rush and say, "Ew, that stinks." But he's been really good over the last few weeks, and I know I answered this one in your super chat. TY's pick said, "Pick two: B-Rob, Kendra Miller, or Judy." It's B-Rob and Kendra Miller for me. I know I can count on the volume. Judy, with DTR, I really just don't know. Judy might end up having a really good week, and that's great and all. But give me Kendra Miller, who looked good even with a bad quarterback behind him. Maybe they get a bump with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. Florida Man said need help. I will get to you right now. Said Hall or BR. If it's Brian Robinson Jr., I'm going with Hall. I'm going with Hall, guys. I think he's gonna be an RB1 this week. I'm willing to die on that sword. Full practice this week. Gets a good matchup. And Brian Robinson Jr., he played well and he's getting volume, but he's not catching a lot of passes. So to me, he's a safe play. Hall is an upside play. Also pick one between Tracy Hawkinson or Kendra Miller. I'm going to go with Tyrone Tracy. He's getting volume. I still don't think the Falcons are going to blow this team out unless Penix comes out firing. So I'm going with Tracy there. I know he's going to get more touches than Kendra Miller in my opinion, and he's getting targets. So I like that. V710 said start two at the flex. Dowdle, Jonnu Smith, McMillan, Jameson, Williams. I'm going to go with Dowdle. He's been playing really well. And McMillan is more of the upside play, in my opinion. But Jonnu Smith would be the safer play with solid upside. No Jalen Waddle today. I think he's doubtful. When guys are doubtful, they rarely ever play. So it would be Dowdle and Jonnu Smith, but McMillan over Jonnu if you're looking for stronger upside. Daniel Dixon said, "Hey Pete, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping in." Let's see. We did get another super chat, and then I will get back to where we are in the live chats. Thanks for hanging tight, guys. It is Josh H with a $5 super chat. Said pick one, RB, Tracy Spears Miller. Pick two, wide receiver, Tyreek Jennings, Smith, Dunze, McMillan. Have Evans starting. Also need a flex out of these. Thanks. Okay, so for the running back position, I'm going to go with Tracy. Unless Tony Pollard gets ruled out, then I would go with Spears. I don't think Tony Pollard's getting ruled out. Looks like he's playing. So I would go with Tracy. And then between Tyreek Jennings, Devonta Smith, Dunze, McMillan, two wide receivers here. I'm going with Tyreek. I'm going with Devonta Smith, and I'm going with McMillan in this spot. You said you have Evans in starting. So you could still start. So I guess I'm a little confused. You're starting Evans. I mean, look, if you're starting Evans, then I would start Juwan Jennings over McMillan, and I would go with Tyreek and Devonta Smith. Yeah, so that would be my advice there. Over here, Alex said Bucky Irving or Garrett Wilson. It's Bucky Irving for me. James said AJ Brown or BTJ. Ooh, man. I'm going to go with BTJ. I know it sounds crazy. I love AJ Brown. But BTJ, that volume cannot be ignored. And I think both guys are awesome plays, of course, this week. But BTJ, I mean, he's coming off of like 11, 10, 14 targets. Like he's had, I mean, he's just been awesome. So, yeah, I would go BTJ. Nicholas said pick two half PPR, Jacoby Myers, Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, or Patrick Taylor. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. I like him today. Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, and Patrick Taylor. Look, I think Pollard is the best play matchup wise, but you're taking a risk with re-injury. You have to go into that understanding that. If you didn't want to take that risk, I would go with Patrick Taylor over Jerome Ford. He's just in the better offense. Jerome Ford is a better player. Patrick Taylor is in the better offense, though. Daniel said, who should I start? Goff at Chicago in the freezing cold or Sammy Darnold in Seattle in what is expected to be rainy weather? Yeah, give me Jared Goff. No David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get the workload, but that offense might look different. They may have to pass more than some expected. Those are my quarterbacks. Yep, we got you here, Emiliano. Michael on Twitch said start 49ers or Titans defense. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans defense against the Colts with how Anthony Richardson played last week. Yeah, I would go with the Titans in that spot. BTJ or London? BTJ for me. B Stick said, "Hey, sup? What's up, man?" Said Goff or Daniels. Give me Jaden Daniels. Kevin B said Swift or Pollard. Give me Pollard over Swift. I'm willing to take the risk. He's a better player. Swift hasn't given us a huge ceiling. He hasn't had 10 PPR points once in the last 4 weeks. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, Michael, thank you for dropping in. Let's see. Derek said Kenneth Walker or Jerome Ford or Patrick Taylor. Yeah, give me Kenneth Walker out of those guys. And let me see one second. Sorry, my fiance is going to get me some coffee so I can stay a little more alert and keep going for you guys here. Jack said Pollard or Ramondre. I think Pollard's risky for re-injury. I think Ramondre has a good matchup, so give me Ramondre. Michael Lopez said Walker, London, or Adams for the flex. Already starting Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Chase, Puka, PPR. Thank you in advance. Give me Devontae Adams. That connection's hot right now. Good matchup against the Rams. I expect them to be competitive. They're at home. Give me Devontae Adams. Daniel said Brian Robinson, Kendra Miller, or Debo this week. Half PPR for running backs, full PPR for wide receivers. Okay, that's interesting to know. I like B-Rob over Kendra Miller. I don't really have like a strong conviction of B-Rob over Debo or Debo over B-Rob. We saw what the 49ers did last week. They tried to get Debo involved. Do they do the same thing again to, you know, uh, to get his confidence back up after a bad week last week? Maybe. Maybe, and it's warm weather. But I'm going to go with Brian Robinson here. Give me the guy that we know what his workload will look like. Christian said Darnold and Murray. Give me Kyler Murray. Yeah, I would go with Kyler Murray. Johnny from Detroit said, "Sup, bro? Mason or or AOC 6-point passing touchdown." Oh man, that is really gross. Um, I'm gonna go with AOC. To be honest with you, I think he gets a better matchup. I would go with Aiden O'Connell. And I think he's better. Emiliano, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Thank you for dropping in. Guys, stick with me here. I'm getting through these as quickly as I can. We're trying to catch up here. We will catch up quickly. I won't give as much context. I would go with Rush over Darnold. Playoff matchup. Thank you. Good luck. Scary Terry or Jerry. Give me Terry. Tristan said sit one. Debo, Adunze, Charbonnet. I would sit a Dunze in this matchup. Charbonnet could get a 50-50 split with Kenneth Walker. It's in the rain. Maybe they run the ball more. And Debo Samuel, look, I'm not comfortable running out Roman Dunze. If he burns me, he burns me, but I'm not comfortable with that. Debo or Judy, give me Debo. Let's see. Ralph said McMillan or Kendra Miller. Give me McMillan for the upside. If you're scared and about the risk, I guess you go Kendra Miller for the floor, but I like McMillan in that spot. Ghost Rift said Nico let me down yesterday. Yeah, me too. Unfortunate. I mean, still gave me 13 PPR points depending on your format, but I was hoping for a little bit more with the strong start. Let's see. Jeffrey, what's up, man? Said B-Rob or Jennings or Wilson. Ooh, so Jennings is odd man out here. B-Rob would be like not the highest ceiling, but he's going to give you a safe floor. I would say B-Rob's good for 10 to 15 points today. Garrett Wilson is probably good for 10, but he can also, give you 20 to 25. So Wilson would be the upside play, but understanding that you might be pulling your hair out. It might be the Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers show with sprinkled in Breece Hall. So there is risk there. I would go with B-Rob, to be honest with you, but it's close. Noel said Pollard, Thielen, Keenan Allen, full PPR. I like Keenan Allen a lot this week, guys. Keenan Allen against Detroit last time scored 2 touchdowns. Banged up Lions defense. I like the Lions defense this week. Don't get me wrong. But I like Keenan Allen in this spot. I'm going to roll a dice here with Keenan Allen over Adam Thielen. Detroit's defense is 28, against the wide receiver position. He scored 24 fantasy points. He scored 20 points 3 out of the last 4 games, and it's a good matchup. So I would go with Keenan Allen. The other Kelsey said Hawk or Strange today, leaning Strange. Yes, I'm leaning Strange as well. Laporta or Hawkinson, I like Laporta just because the red zone, with David Montgomery being out, there's possibility that, red zone is they use Laporta in the red zone more. Nardo said, do you think Pollard is risky to play? I have forward Patrick Taylor or Swift. Who should I start? Yeah, absolutely. Pollard is risky, but I do think Pollard has the biggest chance out of all these guys to have a big game. That's just how I feel. Now, is he risky? Absolutely. He's left the game early in multiple matchups. Didn't come back last week. A couple weeks ago, he left the game early, did come back. Didn't really practice at all this week. There's 100%. And keep in mind, Tajay Spears had a good week last week. So, I would be hesitant with Pollard. If you don't want to take that risk, I'm going with Patrick Taylor over Swift. I think Patrick Taylor's in the better offense. And if you don't want to take that risk with Pollard, I would go with Patrick Taylor. My gut says Pollard, if he's healthy and plays the whole game, has the best game. But you're taking that risk, and I'm just not really a doctor. But I do appreciate you jumping in, but I hope that helped you and didn't confuse you more. Rico Dowdle or DK Metcalf. Yeah, I'm going with Rico Dowdle here unless that weather ends up not being nearly as bad. I do think you're in luck because both of these guys Cowboys play tonight. So you'll get a chance to see what the weather looks like in the Seattle game before that game goes off. So I would take a look, but I think Rico is a safer play, and I think he's still got good upside. Um, let's see, where are we? Uh, Start Tracy or Patrick. Yeah, I would go with Tracy in this spot. Patrick Taylor or Debo. Give me Debo. 710 said start in the flex. I answered this one. You might have missed it. I said Dowdle and Jonnu Smith, but if you're looking for upside, I would bench Jonnu Smith for McMillan. Uh, Luck said, thanks, dude. Yep, no problem. JP said Penix or Rudolph. I would go with Penix here. Tim Sansing said B-Rob, Kendrick Miller. I would go with B-Rob. He said have Jaden so I could guarantee touchdown. Yeah, but limits upside. Yeah, I get it. I just don't know how much upside Kendrick Miller has today. I think he's good for at least, a max of 15 points. And you could say the same for B-Rob, but give me the guy in a better offense in a more competitive game. Even if you do have Jaden Daniels. Rico or DK. Yep, answered this one. I said Rico. Dylan Fink said playoffs, baby. All PPR, different leagues, 3 questions. Okay. Lost AK and Garendo start 1 running back, 1 flex. Abdullah, Madison, Spears, Adunze, and Strange. I would start Alexander Madison, and I would go with Strange. Spears has a good matchup too, so maybe I would lean Spears over Madison, but I do prefer Strange just because he's been playing well. So yeah, it's really between Spears and Madison, but I do want to start Strange in that spot. I would maybe risk it. I would risk it with Spears, actually. Pollard with the injury, I do think Spears is going to see some decent time. With 1 tight end in a separate league, I would go with Strange in that one. And then in your third league, 1 running back, 1 tight end, K9, Ford, Ertz, Chig. Thanks, man. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, man. Appreciate you. Enjoy the holidays. I would go with Kenneth Walker, rainy game. Off the injury report, give me Kenneth Walker over Jerome Ford with a shitty quarterback. And then Ertz or Chig. Yeah, I would go with Chig. I would go with Chig. I think he provides more upside. Ertz coming off the concussion. He is playing today. I think Ertz is a safer play if you're looking for, 5 to 8 points. Chig has a chance to score a touchdown, and I think he has more upside. So it really depends on what you're looking for there. Appreciate you. Njoku is playing, it looks like. At this point in time, that is the 1:00 slate. We should hear in about an hour, but it looks like he's going to play. Fred Johnson said, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Let me scroll down. Toyin said, hey, Kenneth Walker, Chuba, Dowdle, Garrett Wilson in half PPR pick 3. In this spot, I think I want to say Dowdle is odd man out. I like Kenneth Walker over Dowdle. I like Chuba over Dowdle. And I think Garrett Wilson's the upside play. If you're not looking for that strong upside, I would, it is. Yeah. Being that it's half PPR, it's close with Dowdle and Garrett Wilson. But I think Garrett Wilson provides more upside. So, yeah. And then we do have another super chat. Let's pull this one here from L. Scorpion. Said half PPR. Stevenson, Marv, Pittman. Also love Purdy, Murray. Give me Murray in that matchup. I don't really love Purdy. I'm starting Cooper Rush over Purdy this week. I know it sounds nuts. Then we have Stevenson, Marv, or Pittman. It would be between Marv and Stevenson for me. I'm going to go with Marv just for the higher upside, but I think Stevenson's the safest play. Thank you so much for dropping in with the super chat. Ordinary MAGA. By the way, so we're starting to catch up, guys. So just hang in there. We're starting to catch up. We still have 70 people here on YouTube, 42 likes. If you haven't liked the show and you're watching, just takes 2 seconds, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. Helps us out immensely. But Ordinary MAGA said, thoughts on Kendrick Miller? Have him, Tracy Warren already played, Brian Robinson, but he's playing the Eagles. I'm going with B-Rob here. To be honest with you, I guess my question would be, is it between Tracy, B-Rob? Warren already played, so you can't play Warren. I'm starting B-Rob over all these guys. I like Tracy this week too. I think Tracy has some solid upside, but I'm going with B-Rob. I know he's playing the Eagles. He scored a touchdown last time they played. I think he got somewhere around 15 fantasy points last time they played. So I go with B-Rob. D Nice said Jags or Rams kicker. Um, you know, I would probably go with the Jags kicker here, going up against the Raiders. That's going to be in a dome. Cardi, I believe, is the Rams kicker, and he goes up against the Jets in MetLife. It's going to be cold. And I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and the weather is 9 degrees. We're not very far from New York. So yeah, I would roll with the Jags kicker in that situation. Two more super chats here from Ben Moore. Sent in a super sticker. Appreciate that. And then I don't know if I see your question, Ben. Let me see if I can find you. Just scrolling down through the millions of questions that we have. Let's see. Ben. Ben, do me a favor. If you did have a question, send it right back in. You don't have to send super chat. I will find you. I will get to you. Adam Zaff said, "Sup, Pete? Great content as always." Yeah, man. Thank you for dropping in. Ben, if you have a question, let me know, man. I will gladly answer it for you. We have another one here from I Am Greek Boy. He said Tracy or Patrick Taylor. Give me Tyrone Tracy. Like I said, he's the better player. And honestly, to me, I just, yeah, I would go with Tracy in that spot. I mean, Tracy's getting volume. Patrick Taylor, Debo Samuel might line up at running back. So who really knows? In some spots I would start Patrick Taylor, but not in this spot. Ben did send in a super chat, did send in his question again. Thank you so much, man. He said, "Morning, need a big comeback. Bench one, AJ Brown, Kyron Williams, or Brian Thomas Jr." Holy shit. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a lock for me. He's gotten over 10 targets the last 3 games in a row. He's a monster right now. I mean, he's just absolutely crushing it. So the upside is there. And then, it's really between Kyron and AJ Brown. AJ Brown gets the Commanders. Kyron gets the Jets. I want to take a look here really quick and just see what the Jets have done to running backs as of late. Let's see. So points allowed for the Jets to the running back position. Let me take a look. So they've given up 9 rushing touchdowns this year. That's probably middle of the pack. And then from a reception standpoint, they've given up 57. They're giving up 18.56 to the running back position. They're a pretty strong start in terms of, there's worry there for Kyron. To me, that offense is playing really well. Blake Corum's starting to get more involved. I would go with AJ Brown since you're chasing points. But he said, "I'm just worried they're going to run the ball and AJ Brown won't get any targets." I'm totally with you there. To me, I just worry with Kyron, that the Blake Corum's starting to kind of get more touches, starting to stick his nose in there a little bit more. And that's a good run defense. I mean, the Jets defense against the run is top 10 to running backs in fantasy, just to running backs in general. So I think AJ Brown provides higher upside. But to me, Kyron Williams is going to get more volume. So if it depends what you value more, but you said you're down big right now. So at that point, I would just shoot for upside and understand that there's going to be risk with AJ Brown. But I'm okay going Kyron too. If that's what your gut's telling you, I'm fine. But BTJ needs to be in your lineup out of those 3. That would be for sure. Nardo said Thielen, Addison, Tyreek Hill, Penix, or Tua. I'm going to go with Tua over Penix. They're in Miami. I know he's been kind of spotty. He had a shitty week last week, but this offense always plays better in Miami, and Tua's splits are better in Miami. Now, between Thielen and Addison or Tyreek Hill, look, you got to start Tyreek Hill. No Jalen Waddle. I understand. Tyreek has been kind of iffy, and he's got the wrist injury right now, but they're going to find ways to get him the ball. This team is still technically contending for a playoff spot, so I'm fine dying on the sword with Tyreek Hill. If you didn't want to go that route, I would go with Thielen over Addison. Connor Bateman with a $2 super said Lover Richardson, sleet projected in Green Bay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Richardson has higher upside, but he's way more boom bust. I think Richardson has higher upside, but he's way more boomer bust. Love is in a game that possibly ends up being a blowout, and so totally understand your hesitancy going with Love with possible weather, and but it's a good matchup. So I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you're in a game that you feel pretty confident in your matchup, I would go with Love. If you feel like you might be having to chase points, I would go with Richardson. But all right, cool. So that's our last super chat. If you have any more, feel free to send them in. If you've been waiting for a while, feel free to send one in. It only takes $2 super, and I will pull your question ahead of everybody else. Scrolling back up to see where I left off. Let me see. Geez, just so many questions here, guys. Just hang tight. All right, let's see. Nope, still not there yet. Okay, here we go. Alex said Bucky or Garrett Wilson. I would go with Bucky. Corey Price, full PPR, start two, Tyrone Tracy, Jamison Williams, Travis Etienne, or Kendra Miller. I am starting Travis Etienne over Kendra Miller this week. Travis Etienne's actually looking better. He gets a good matchup this week, in my opinion. So I would go with Travis Etienne. And then I would actually go with Tyrone Tracy. Jamison Williams is interesting. He's a little more boomer bust. I would go with Tyrone Tracy and Travis Etienne. I think Jameis Williams has the highest upside to have a really big game, but I prefer those guys. McMillan or Scary Terry. I'm going to start Scary Terry. Start two. Javi said Neighbors, Higgins, Terry, or Wilson. Yeah, I'm starting Neighbors with Locke on the field, hyper targeted. He said currently up 58. Josh is my quarterback. I have Gibbs. Yeah, I mean, you got an awesome lead. So pretty much you're looking for safe. I would go with Neighbors, but with your lead, I mean, I would probably go with Neighbors and Wilson in this spot. I like Wilson over Terry regardless. I think Higgins provides the most upside of the three, but he was injured on the injury report this week. I would go with Neighbors and Wilson, just given your lead that you have right now. Nick Campbell said Pollard, Walker, Kendra Miller, B-Rob, Patrick Taylor, pick two. Yeah, I would go with Walker and B-Rob. I like Pollard, but I just worry with the possibility of re-injury. Just answered this one. Let's go to George, half PPR, Terry or Kendra Miller. I would go with Terry. It's more risky. Kendra Miller, I think, is Kendra Miller is going to get you somewhere around 5 to 10 for sure, in my opinion. It's just a matter of how high that ceiling goes. I think Terry provides a higher ceiling, but he provides more risk from what we saw last time they played. Love or Goff? I'm going with Goff. I prefer Goff. Chris Holmes said, help overthinking this, Cup or Neighbors. Thanks. I would go with Neighbors. I like Cup this week, but I would go with Neighbors. I just like what I saw with Drew Lock and how much they just pepper Neighbors with the football. So I'll die on that sword. T.S. Tanis Lucis. Don't know. Definitely didn't say that right, but whatever. Watson, Downs, or Thielen. I'm going with Christian Watson, and I'm going with Adam Thielen. Titans' pass defense has been pretty good, and Christian Watson has had the yardage in the last 4 to 5 games. I believe he's had over 50 something receiving yards. Let me pull that up. I'm trying to get through these questions quick, but I do want to give you some context. He's had over 56 yards receiving in 4 out of those last 5. One of those is 150. One of those is 114. The volume isn't necessarily there a ton, but when he's on the field, he's getting targeted in the last 2 weeks, out of every 4 targets that routes that he runs. Stephen B said really need a clutch help, Pollard or Myers. I'm gonna go with Myers in this spot. I will go with Myers in this spot. I like Myers today. Darnold or Rush. I'm going with Rush. I answered this one already. I know you sent it back in. Nick said start 2 flex. Dowdle, Jonnu Smith, McMillan, Jamison Williams. I like Dowdle and Jonnu and McMillan would be upside. I know you resent this in. Need to from Kyle said need to half PPR, Addison, B-Rob, Smith. Give me B-Rob and give me Devonta Smith. Hector, I know you sent this in. I did answer this already for you. I would go with Adams, Bruce Hall, and Devonta Smith here in that spot. Bucky or Aaron, I would go with Bucky. Ridley or McMillan, I would go with Ridley. Did answer this one already. Rush or Murray, I'm going with Murray. Big Homie 45 said pick 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 flex. St. Brown, Jennings, Devonta Smith, Jacoby Myers, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I'm going with St. Brown. Definitely going with St. Brown. Definitely going with. I would go with Aaron Jones over Kenneth Walker. And then it's really between Jacoby Myers and Devonta Smith. I'm going to lean with Devonta Smith, but I do like Jacoby Myers this week. Ford versus Cincinnati, who's 16 versus the run? DK Metcalf versus the Vikings, who are the worst against the running back, wide receivers. Anybody can let me know. Yeah, I mean, I understand the hesitancy here with DK and Ford, but I'm going with DK. I just don't know what to expect. I don't trust that this Browns offense is going to move the football. Ford has some home run hitting upside, but I'm going with DK. I'll risk that. Colts or Vikings D. So my rankings I just put out. Let me just double check here off the top of my head. Let's see. Yeah, I have Vikings over Colts. Vikings over Colts for me. John said Ford, Tracy, or Miller this week. Give me Tracy. Donkey said Vikings defense in response. Ridley or McMillan, give me Ridley. Chubb or A-Chain, give me A-Chain. And reason being, I mean, A-Chain's been awesome with Tua back, and no Jalen Waddle. So like, I mean, he's been one of their most consistent guys, if not the most consistent guy. Nick Campbell did answer this already for you. I said B-Rob, and I would go with Kenneth Walker in this spot. Dexter Dotson said in a standard league, non-PPR, would you flex Ford or Myers? I'm going with Myers. Jags or Rams kicker, I did say the Jags. Chubb or A-Chain, I did say A-Chain. Ryan, looks like you sent that question in 20,000 times. Jacob Clark said Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, Terry McLaurin. Yeah, I would go with Devonta Smith, and I would go with T. Higgins. Yeah, that would be my answer. Jonnu or Ford, give me Jonnu Smith. A half point super flex, DJ Moore, Bucky, Caleb Williams. Ooh, I would go with DJ Moore, and I would go. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I would go with Bucky and Caleb Williams. I really like DJ Moore in this spot, but being that it's half point PPR, and that's where most of DJ Moore is making his hay, it's from his targets, but he's not catching a lot of passes downfield. He's not scoring a bunch of touchdowns. So I would go with Caleb, and I would go with Bucky in that spot. 5-point underdog, McMillan or Marv. I would go with Marv. I did answer this. I know you sent it back in again. Strange no matter what from Donkey. Brian Passalis said Tua or Rodgers. This is close, actually. I would go with Aaron Rodgers over Tua this week. I just like the matchup more. Jeffrey Drake said Robinson, Jennings, or Garrett Wilson need to start one. I like B-Rob over these 3 guys. It's between him and Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson provides more upside, but he provides more risk as well. So just take that with what you will. Who do the Panthers play? Panthers play the Arizona Cardinals. Marv or Jalen McMillan. I'm going with Marv. My opponent is the Packers defense kicker and Kendra Miller. Should I start Christian Watson for the Monday nighter or Tony Pollard? I'm going to go with Tony Pollard over Watson. I think Watson's a good play. To me, with the variables that you have here, the Packers defense, their kicker, like, to me, there's a possibility that like Packers defense is annihilating and Christian Watson goes like because of the setup here, Packers defense could end up playing extremely well that they sit on the ball and start running it and don't give Christian Watson. So if that happens, now you're getting crushed by Packers defense and you're getting crushed because Christian Watson's in your lineup. I'd rather risk it with Tony Pollard in that case. Lamb or McMillan, don't overthink this. Go with Lamb. Mixed Sibes said my opponent has Packers defense. Okay, I did answer this. You sent it in again. Let's see. All right. Well, the good news is, guys, we are starting to catch up because some people sent their question in like 90 times, the same question. So we are clearing out through some of those. I would go with Adams over Chuba. I did answer this one, Brian. I said Rodgers. Penix or A-Rich. I'm going to go with Penix. Give me Penix. Let's see. PPR, need to RB, Brees, White, Ram, Ford, Kendra Miller, Spears. Give me Brees and White. Give me Brees and White. Nicholas said Ford, Thielen, Devonta Smith, half point PPR. Give me Devonta Smith. Man, you guys are confusing me because so many guys sent in the same question. I keep having to read through. I did answer this for Corey. Ryan, you sent this in like 90 times. Maybe relax on that if you could. Trone, what's up, man? Said my opponent had Mixon, so good start. Yes, very good start. Njoku or Strange? Give me Strange. Mike said Walker or Hubbard. Give me Walker over Hubbard. I do like both guys, but give me Walker over Hubbard. Yes, and I did answer this. Give me one flex. Lamb Hall. I would go with Lamb. I go with Lamb. Williams said Thielen, McMillan, or Allen. Pick one. Give me Keenan Allen. Played really well against the Lions last time. Man, my start sit stream got. I wish my start. Jamie, it's all in due process, man. You just got to keep grinding, man. Appreciate you being here. Who to start at my kicker? Sanders, McManus, Elliott, Cardi, Ryland, Reichert. I would go with Sanders. I would go with Sanders in good weather. I would go with Sanders. Devonta Smith or Jordan Addison. Devonta Smith. Playoffs back, baby. Yep, I did answer this one for you. I'll rip through it really quickly. I did say I liked Strange, and it's between Madison and Spears. I think I lean Spears, honestly, and then I prefer Strange over Henry, and I prefer Kenneth Walker and Chig. Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. Let's see. Pick two full PPR, Thielen, Downs, Watson. I feel like I answered this one already as well, but I said Christian Watson. No, I'm sorry. I would go with, Watson and Thielen. Yep. Answered this one already. Jason Poole. Quarterback Hurts, running back Connor and Jones, wide receivers Jefferson, AJ Brown, tight end is Johnny, flex BTJ, Atlanta D. Okay, bench Goff, Kittle, Jennings. Do I make any changes? No, I like Atlanta. Nope, no changes. You're good. Good luck. Bernard Rodriguez said Jaden Daniels, Barkley, Chase Brown, Devonta Smith, St. Brown, McBride, Addison, Devonta Smith, Pacheco, Chuba. Any changes to start? I would. Devonta Smith. No, you're good. Good luck. Pick two. Over the moon said Chase Brown, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Marvin Harrison, Bucky Irving. Go Chase Brown and Bucky Irving. Ride with those dogs. They got you here. They're playing hot. I would ride with them. Good morning, Pollard or Ford. Give me Pollard. Willing to take the risk there. TT Warrior, Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, Scantling, or Tim Patrick as my third wide receiver. Honestly, I would go with Adam Thielen. Coker has more home run hitting upside. So if you're looking for upside, I would go with Coker, but I prefer Adam Thielen. Nicholas said, pick one, please, for Devonta Smith, Thielen. Oh God, please don't start Ford over these two. I'm going with Devonta Smith. Eddie Higgins, full PPR. I need three to start. Let me call your question here. He said, Addison, Neighbors, Jennings, and we are catching up on the chat, guys. We are catching up on the chat. I will still stick with you guys. Maybe I'll go for another 40 minutes, honestly, because you guys are showing out. Hit that like button, guys, if you haven't already. If you guys can get me to, where are we at in likes? Let's see. We are at 53 in likes. If we can get to 70 likes in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will go for another hour. So let's get those likes up. Appreciate you guys so much for dropping in. In this question, you need three to start. I'm starting Neighbors with Drew Lock. I'm starting Devonta Smith, and I'm starting Garrett Wilson. Good luck. Let's see. Kenneth Walker over Kendra Miller. Yep. Adam pulled that already, but I wanted to pull it up again because he said great content as always. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Goff or Baker? Oh, Baker. Ride the Bake Man this week. Ride the Bake Man. PPR from RL, Flex, Rashad White, Ram, Jawan Jennings. I would go with Rashad White here. Tua Rogers, answer this already. Give me Rogers. Miller, Tracy Ford, give me Tracy. Paul, what's up, Paul? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Said, good morning. Start Pollard, White, or Patrick Taylor. Not sure. Yeah, I'm going with Rashad White. He's been good even with Bucky Irving. My question is, how did you all make the playoffs this week with these players? A lot of injuries. People lost David Montgomery. Like, people are looking for fill-ins right now. And yeah, we're at 63 likes. Appreciate you guys. 10 more likes since I mentioned that. So appreciate it. Let's keep it going. I will keep rolling as long as we can get to, like I said, 70 likes in the next 10 minutes. So we're 7 likes away. Noah Young, man, you sent this in a couple times, but it sucks that you just didn't hear me because now you're sending in a super chat, and I feel bad. I wish I could refund you, but I guess you didn't hear it. Said, pick 2, Marv, Patrick Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Strange, or B-Rob. Yeah, give me B-Rob over Kenneth Walker, and then give me Marv over the rest. So I would go with B-Rob and Marv. If you're looking for a safer play, I would go with Kenneth Walker over Marv. But it's B-Rob and Marv for me. That run defense for Minnesota is pretty good. That's the only reason why. But I mean, I don't hate Kenneth Walker this week. Don't get me wrong. All right, let's go back up, get to where we were. Hang with me, guys. Every time I pull a super chat, I have to go back and scroll all the way up, and it messes my spot. Justin Boyer said Hurts or Baker. Oh, I know Hurts is ranked higher, but the matchup for Baker. Yeah, I'm going with Baker. Give me Baker. Give me Baker. I think they're on a mission to get Mike Evans, and it's a better matchup, and it's indoors. So give me Baker in prime time. Miller or Judy, Miller or Swift, Miller or Stevenson. So I guess you want to know. I would go with Miller over Judy. I would go with Miller over Swift. I would go with Stevenson over Miller. Harrison or Judy. Give me Harrison. My opponent has Gibbs left and has Gibbs, Jefferson, and CD. Yeah, you have a chance. You have a chance. I mean, if that's Josh Allen, right? Even Keenan Allen I still like, but I mean, if that's fucking Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, and look, Jefferson might not have a good game this week. I mean, with the rain and everything, I mean, you're starting Jefferson if you have him, but I mean, there you definitely have a chance. B-Rob, Kenneth Walker, Bucky Irving from Zach here. I like Bucky Irving over both of these guys. Moose said pick 2, Doodle. I think he meant Dowdle. JSN and Cup, half PPR. Yeah, I'm going with Cup. Roll the dice. He was awesome before last week, and I expect McVay to get him going. And then I would go with Dowdle over JSN unless the weather lightens up. Then I'd consider JSN, but I would go with Dowdle and Cup. Scott, what's up? Said Kendra Miller or Patrick Taylor at the flex, standard scoring. Thank you. I like Kendra Miller over Patrick Taylor. It is very close. Sometimes I worry that sometimes I may have actually said Patrick Taylor over Kendra Miller. My mind's turning into mush with how many freaking times I have to answer. Nothing against you or anybody that asks. I get it's a tough question, but I mean, anybody that tells you that it's a clear one way between the two guys is wrong. We're all shooting blanks and throwing shit at the wall when it comes to these two guys. I do feel confident that they will do better than Jerome Ford, though, and I could be absolutely fucking wrong. But that's kind of my lean there. I like Kendra Miller. Shantia Rushing said full PPR, Darnold or Goff. Give me Goff and give me Hawkinson over Kraft. I think it'll be more of a competitive game. Zach said Pollard or Kenneth Walker. Give me Kenneth Walker just because the issues with Pollard possibly going out and Spears might be more involved. I think so. Let's see. Coker or ETN. I like if you're looking for ceiling, go Coker, but I like ETN overall better, just in general. But if you're looking for ceiling, it's Coker, but just understand that there's risk there. DK Addison or Patrick Taylor in the flex. Give me DK. I'm willing to take that risk. Trone, what's up, man? Said Brees, Madison, Patrick Taylor, Kendra Miller. I like Brees, and I actually like ETN over the rest. Ben, I know you sent in a super chat. I did answer, but I'll make sure in case you didn't hear it. I said Brian Robinson's the lock, and it's between AJ and Kyron, running the risk that yes, AJ's they might run the ball in that game, and Kyron's definitely going to touch the ball more, but I think AJ has more home run hitting upside. Nick said, thanks, man. Have a good Sunday. You too, man. Carl said DSD stash for week 17. Okay. Let's see. Green Bay, Miami, Saints, Seattle. So I don't like the Saints out of these guys. Miami is interesting. Green Bay is interesting, but no. It'd be between Miami and Seattle. I think personally, um, only one that's a home team is the Saints. I would go with I would go with Miami. Go with Miami. Possibility for more turnovers for sure in that game. I would go Miami. Heisenberg said needing some booms this week. Judy, Devonta Smith, or Debo for a boom. What you think? I would go with Devonta Smith for the boom. I would go with JSN over Jennings. Zach. Matt, need one wide receiver, flex, PPR downs, Pittman, Tim Patrick, Christian Watson, and my lone running back, Tracy. Yeah, I would start Tracy. And it's really between Downs and Christian Watson for me. I would go with Christian Watson, but I understand this risk and they could be blowing him out. And so if you don't want to take that risk, I would go with Downs. But Tracy's my favorite play out of all these guys. Tron said my opponent had Mixon, good start. Yep, I did answer this. Sometimes like if it's, I feel like I'm going crazy, but you guys definitely have sent the same questions in or the same comments, and I'm scrolling down. Trevor Edwards, full PPR, needs some upside. Have Jonathan Taylor, McMillan, Cup, Strange. Need a flex wide receiver. Yeah, I would go with Cup for sure. And then I would go with. Strange is the last guy I would play here. Maybe over McMillan. Sorry. I would go with Jonathan Taylor. You need some upside. I think that game will be competitive. If you're really looking for the risky upside, then it's McMillan and it's Cooper Cup. But I think Taylor can have a really good game still after last week. So I would go with Taylor. Who should I start my flex today? I have Pollard, Kendra Miller. I'm willing to risk it with Pollard over Miller. I am. Brendan, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Aaron Jones, Bucky Irving. Give me Bucky. Give me Bucky. Caleb or AR. Give me Caleb. DJ Moore, JSN, DJ. Give me DJ Moore. Philly or Miami kicker. Give me Miami kicker. Justin Boyer, PPR, Hurts or Baker. Give me Baker. Start one. Roma Dunze, Jaden Reed, Kendra Miller, Jerome Ford. Should I play Hawk? No, don't play Kincaid over Hawkinson. I don't care if you have the stack. There's just too many miles involved in that offense with Kincaid. Dawson Knox is even getting some decent burn. And then between Ford, Kendra Miller, Roma Dunze, and Jaden Reed, fuck it. Give me Ramondre, unless you're really well. Okay, and you need a flex. So I would go with Ramondre and Jaden Reed. If you don't want to take the risk with Jaden Reed, then it would be Kendra Miller for me. We're at 66 likes, guys. If you haven't liked the show, give me that thumbs up. Appreciate you. We still have 54 people here on YouTube. Appreciate everybody showing up and showing out today. Tron Force said my opponent. Yeah. I know you guys are probably going fucking crazy hearing me reread people's questions. You guys just keep sending in the same thing. And I'm trying to go rapid fire here. I'm stuck on who to pick for the PPR flex on a PPR. Oh God, mush. I'm sorry. Thielen, Jam. Oh, Jerome Ford. Yeah, give me Thielen. Give me Thielen. Wilson over McMillan. I'm going Wilson over McMillan. Please help semifinal CPR, Darnold or Goff, Hawkinson or Kraft. I'm going with Goff and I'm going with Hawkinson. Going against Burrow, start Hurts or Baker. Go with Baker. Ben Moore said thanks. Makes sense. Yep, man, no problem. Thanks for super chat. Ford, Kenneth Miller, ETN. I like ETN. Bills or Falcons. Have a great Christmas, Pete. Thank you. Yeah, Todd, thank you, man. Go Bills. That would be my play here. Good morning, Pollard, White, Patrick Taylor. Give me White. Thank you, Paul, for jumping in. E Macho said, top of the morning, all. Hope all having a blessed holidays. Yeah, you too, man. Said played Mixon, should still play Hall or play Miller. Please go with Hall. Please go with Hall. Look, Miller might have a better day, but please go with Hall. He's got a good matchup. I would even go with Hall over McMillan. Yes. Let's see. I answered this one. I would go with Rodgers. Honestly, but I didn't know Rush was an option. I would go with Cooper Rush over all three. We go Cooper Rush with all three. Marvolo, Flex, Hawk, Roma, Washington, Abdullah, or Cooper. Oh gosh. I would go with Hawkinson, but these are all really gross options. Really gross options. Mobbin, what's up? Said Tracy or Kendrick. I would go with Tracy. Self-Reliance said start two, McLaurin, BTJ, Hill, or Cup. I'm going with BTJ, and I'm going with Tyreek Hill. Yep. I'm definitely going BTJ. You could be swayed on Hill or Cup, but I'm going with Hill. I'm going with BTJ and Hiller. Justin Boyer, I pulled this up again. I know I said Baker. Always a workload over Boom on playoffs. Yeah, man. I get that. Totally get that. Dez Scott said full PPR, 2 flex spots. Who should I start over Devonta Smith, Jaden Reed, or Jordan Addison? Yeah, I'm going with Devonta Smith. Going with the Devonta Smith. Ross Husel said half PPR. I have a flex position. Need to pick one. Marvin Harrison Jr., JSN, or Brian Thomas. Yes, go with Brian Thomas. Self-Reliance, full PPR, BTJ, Hill, Cup. And it just answered something similar to this. I would go BTJ and Hill. Self-Reliance and Justin Boyer. It's like you guys are both going back and forth, sending your question in the same time, the same question. But it's good because I'm getting closer to the bottom. So hang with me, guys, if you haven't gotten your question answered. A lot of these questions are filled up with people sending the same question. Just guys, I'm gonna get to you guys. Just hang on. GBU half PPR, Thielen or Devonta Smith. Give me Devonta. X, I know this may seem like a dumb question, but AR versus Tennessee or Stafford versus New York Jets? Not a dumb question at all. I think AR provides more upside, but I am going with Stafford versus the Jets. I understand your feelings there. I did answer this one, Zach, already. I said Kenneth Walker, Self-Reliance, and Justin Boyer. Still going back and forth. Be grateful, Evans or St. Brown, full PPR. Oh man. I'm going with Mike Evans, prime time. We know what the talks are. This is a really tough play. Both guys should be fine, but I'm going with Evans in the spot. Debbie, what's up? Said, good morning, Pete. Thanks for being here. Mayfield or Love? I'm going with Baker. Need a flex, Pollard, Ford, or Thielen? I would go with Thielen, but I understand maybe going with Pollard in this spot. Merry Christmas to you as well. Jigs said full PPR, Kenneth Walker, McMillan in the flex. I prefer Kenneth Walker, but I do think McMillan has higher upside. Vikings, please go Packers. Go Packers. It's going to be a rigid, really cold freaking game. And the Saints are depleted of weapons. It's a good defense. Shals, what's up? Said who to flex, full PPR, Swift, Tracy, Algier, McMillan, or Devonta Smith. Starting JT, Bucky, Puka, JSN. Yeah, I would go with Devonta Smith. Bass or McManus. Yeah, I would go with Bass. I'm not the kicker guy, though. I would go talk to Hoff. If you are on Twitter, the FF Realist on Twitter, I would check him out. He's one of our guys here. He's unfortunately not able to do the show today, but I would go check his kicker rankings. I'm sure he posted them already. Simp said, play Tua or pick Rodgers. I would go with Tua. I'm sorry. I would go with Rodgers, but I would also, I feel crazy saying this, man, but I think I would go with Rush over all these guys. Yeah, I mean, give me Rush. If you're not willing to take that risk, go with Rodgers. And then, yeah, I wouldn't stack. I wouldn't go with Mac Jones. And then full PPR, I would go with Tracy over the rest. Robert Brown said Bucky Irving or Aaron Jones. I would go with Bucky. T. Higgins or Brian Thomas. Go with Brian Thomas. One running back, one flex. Yes, I would go with Brian Thomas. I would go with Bucky Irving. Let's see. We are catching up, guys. We are catching up here. Appreciate everybody that's been here, that is enjoying the show. We're at 69 likes, guys. We are 1 like away from 70. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. Angel A said round 2 of the playoffs. Need 2 to start running back. Patrick Taylor, Rashad White. Okay, you're starting Rashad White and and I'm starting Tracy in this spot. I would also start Strange over Njoku. Good luck to you. Nick, Patrick Taylor, Jalen McMillan. I think both guys are risky, but I would go with Jalen McMillan for the risk. I'd go Patrick Taylor if you just want that volume and maybe not a ton of upside. Alicia, what's up? Merry Christmas, Pete. Merry Christmas to you as well. Not Negs said two. Yep, I answered this one for you already. You might not have heard it, but that's okay. I would go with ETN and I would go with Pollard here. And D-Rex said full PPR, Jonathan Taylor or DK, Richardson or Purdy. Thanks, man. No, thank you. In this spot, I would go with Jonathan Taylor in this spot. And then I would go with Purdy over Richardson in that spot as well. Thank you. All right. Where are we at? Self-reliance. And freaking Justin Poirier, you guys were freaking relentless, man. I answered you guys already. I'll throw you guys a bone and tell you. I'll answer it again just in case somehow you missed it. Brenton Strange or Josh Downs, interesting. I would go with Strange, but I do think Josh Downs has some sneaky upside today. I do. Justin Boyer, I said Baker. In case you didn't hear it, self-reliance. I did say BTJ and I did say Tyreek Hill. Shantia rushing. I did answer this one for you already. In case you missed it, I said Goff and Hawkinson. Trevor, if I skipped you, it was an accident. So resend in your question. Hi, Pete. Late, so I'm going to rewind to the beginning. Greg, you are the man. I appreciate you very much. Shanti, I did answer you. You probably didn't hear it, but I just answered you again. Kevin Scott said Ford or Patrick Taylor. I would go with Patrick Taylor. Let's see, Evans or St. Brown. I did answer this one, but you did not send in the defense question side of this. So I will tell you Green Bay, and I said Evans over St. Brown, but I think these are all really good spots. So I don't think you can really go wrong. Ford or Pollard. I would go with Pollard. Dez, I answered this one already. Jaden, I would go with Jaden Reed and Devonta Smith. I would go with those two. Hector, I did answer this one. Let's see. Since I I would go with Strange. Sebastian said Pollard or Spears. Don't have any other player to pivot to. Go with Pollard. Go with Pollard. I understand the worry though about the re-injury. But I would go with Pollard. It's a good matchup for both guys. I mean, honestly, if you're really worried about the re-injury, Spears is fine to go with, especially you don't have a pivot. But I would go with Pollard. I just think he's the better player, and I wouldn't surprise me if he's out there on the first possession. Answered this already. Self-reliance. Dez. Now it's Dez, self-reliance, and Justin Boyer. We've added another one to the spamming of the same question. Just hang tight, guys. I answered them already. I hope you heard me. Debo or DK in the rain? This is actually close because the Patrick Taylor thing with the running back, maybe Debo gets involved more. I would go with Debo over DK actually. I would actually. Fredo, what's up, man? Haven't seen you yet today. Said Wilson, Puka, or JSN. Come on, man. It's Puka for sure. I think you probably knew that, but you wanted some reassurance. And don't worry, I got you. I would go with Puka. He's too hot to sit, regardless of matchups. Jay Snow said Terry or Dowdle. I would go with Dowdle here. D-Rec answered this one already for you. If you didn't hear, I said Taylor, and I would go with Purdy. Daniel Caps said Rashad White, Ford, Pollard, Ramondre, PPR. I would go with Rashad White. Myers or Wilson? That is interesting for sure. That is actually pretty close. I'm going to go with Wilson, but I think Myers is safer play. He's just, he's less mouths to feed, but I would go with Wilson. Let's see. Nardo said Tyrone Tracy or Rico Dowdle. Man. I would go with Rico over Tracy. I like both guys today, but I would go with Rico over Tracy. Shantia said, thank you. No problem. Thank you. I would go with I would go with Rodgers over Darnold. Sarath said in PPR, need to pick one Bucky, Hubbard, James Cook, Flex, and then RB or BTJ. Okay. So, yeah, I would go with BTJ for sure. And I would go. I would go with James Cook. James Cook, and BTJ. That would be my answer for you. The coffee's kicking in. Spears or Kendra Miller now that Pollard is starting. Yeah, I would go with Kendra Miller here. I would go with Kendra Miller. I'm okay with that. Njoku, Ertz, or Kincaid. Oh, gosh. Man. I don't really love any of these guys. Ertz coming off the concussion. Oh, gosh. Shoot. I mean, I would just wish the Njoku thing was easier to answer because the hamstring and the quarterback issues make me worried. I'm going to lower my desk. I'm standing up. I'm going to sit down for this one. That's how tough the question was. Man. Man, I really don't know why I'm so stumped on this one. It's not an easy question. Fuck. I would go with Kincaid. Which I would love to risk with Njoku, but I don't know what your situation is, and I don't want to have you risk it with him if you're not in a position to do so. I do like Njoku the best, kind of, but Kincaid's got the better quarterback, and and Njoku's just got all these injuries right now. It's just hard with the bad quarterback play. Mad Max with a $2 super said half PPR Debo, Washington, or Strange. Give me Debo in this spot. Yeah, give me Debo. Let me see what else we got. Awesome. So it looks like we are starting to catch up on the questions. I just want to say thank you guys so much. There's a lot of places that you could go, to spend your time asking questions. I appreciate everybody that's coming here today to ask questions. It really means a lot. Really, really appreciate the support, guys. Devonta Smith or Drake London? Yeah, man. I like Devonta Smith more, but at the same time, like Drake London, oh gosh, this is a tough one. I would go with Drake London actually, just because less mouths to feed at the wide receiver position. AJ Brown is much scarier to deal with for Devonta than Darnell Mooney is for Drake London. But you worry about the connection and everything else, but. I also worry about game script a little bit more for Devonta. College Sports Sare said PPR pick one, Njoku, Reed, DK, or Ridley. Yeah, Njoku is playing. Thank you for the super chat. I actually happen to like Ridley today. I'll be bold here and say Ridley. If it's not Ridley, it's DK for me. But I actually think the connection with Mason Rudolph is solid with Ridley. We've seen them connect pretty decently. So I would go with Ridley. Baker, Jaden, opponent has Mike Evans. I'm in the lead. Yeah, I would go with Baker. Surprisingly over Jaden Daniels. I would go with Baker for sure. Thank you for the super chat as well. Rodgers or Richardson, go with Rodgers. Quasim said, help please. Kendra Miller, Tajay Spears, Ford, Odunze for the flex full PPR. Kendra Miller. Kendra Miller. Ryan Perry, need one full PPR. Thielen, Marvin, Downs, or McMillan. Give me Marv. Yep, give me Marv. I think he has the best chance to score a touchdown here, and it is half PPR. So I would go with Marv. I did answer this one already. Double J, I'm torn back and forth between Cincinnati and Colts defense today or Atlanta. I like Atlanta. I moved them up to 3 in my rankings. I would go with Atlanta. Just because of the sacks and the turnovers, I would go with Atlanta. Jalen Hurts over Jordan Love, yes. I would go with Jalen Hurts. Nathan said AR or Stafford. PPR, I have Puka and JT. Also, I have Darnold, but I can't play it. Yeah, I would go with Stafford here. I would go with Stafford. Alicia, Hall, Bucky, Cup in the flex. Alicia, always the tough questions here. I would play the running backs over Cup. I like Hall, but I think he's riskier than Bucky. But Bucky's also splitting. I think Hall is the higher upside play. I think Bucky is the safer floor play. It'd be between those two. Ludwig said, hi, JSN or Cup. Go with Cup. Chubbs, McGee, tight end, Hawk or Strange with the weather in Seattle. Cheers. Cheers to you as well. I would go with Strange over Hawk. I would go with Strange over Hawk. Katie Claiborne said Tracy or McMillan full PPR. I feel like I answered this and I said Tracy before. I'll stick with Tracy over McMillan today. I just think the workload will be higher. We got really need your help today. Half PPR starting Barkley, JT Evans, London, Aaron Jones projected to win by 2 points. Do I start Cup, McLaurin, Ford, or Spears over any of those starters? JT Evans, London, Aaron Jones. I would slot in Aaron Jones over JT, and I would put JT to the bench and put Cooper Cup in at the flex. So Coach, what's up, man? Said no pressure to beat Matt today. Ferguson, Komet, Jazeki, Calcaterra start one. I actually happen to like Komet this week, but I would go with Ferg for sure. Bike Walker said, what's up? Start Goff or Stafford. Also, would you start Judy over any of these guys? Jacoby Myers, Bucky Irving. No, I wouldn't start Judy over those guys. And I'm going with Goff over Stafford. But there is risk. I mean, Goff is not always the best in cold weather. But Stafford also has played in a dome for most of his career. So Ludwig said Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving, or JSN. I would go with Bucky Irving. I would go with Bucky Irving. Half PPR, Ryan Perry, Laporta or Strange. I would go with Laporta with the, with having a red zone target down with David Montgomery. I would go with Laporta. I did answer this one. I will answer it again. Quasum, in case you didn't hear, I said Kendra Miller. OG Quibs said good morning. For half PPR, Keenan Allen or Kenneth Walker, not sure to play. The Lions being awful against slot receivers to take the weather and bad matchup against the Vikings. Yeah, I would go with Keenan Allen here. I go with Keenan Allen. He's getting hyper targeted. It's a good matchup for him, and Vikings are a good run defense. So I go with Keenan Allen. Firefighter said need to start DK, Marv, Addison, or Dobbs. I would go with Marv, and it is close between Dobbs and DK, but I would go with DK just because of the matchup. I know the rain is worrisome, but Dobbs could be in a game where, this Packers rotation of receivers and just given the guys that you could start here, I just prefer DK. What's the point of spamming? Yeah, I know. Some guys just think that they keep sending their question and they'll get it answered. But we're going with the oldest questions first. So resending it in doesn't change because I'm not going off of the top for the most recent. Braden said Hunter Henry or Jake Ferguson. Go with Ferg. Purdy or Darnold. I would go with Purdy. Lonely Stoner said PPR start 2. B-Rob, Spears, Pat Taylor, Kendra Miller. I would go with B-Rob. And oh man. Let me think about the second part of that. Kraft over Strange. I would go with Strange. Scared of the Eagles defense and Saints offense, while the 49ers are usually RB friendly. Yes. Yeah. But the 49ers, yeah, I mean, I think you're okay with B-Rob and Patrick Taylor there. That's fine. I could be swayed on Kendra Miller. But I think you're good with B-Rob and Patrick Taylor there. And I would go with Strange over Kraft. We do have another super chat. Let's see. It's from Oscar. Said Jaden Daniels or Purdy already have Scary Terry. Go with Jaden Daniels. I'm not in love with Purdy this week, to be honest with you. So go with Jaden Daniels. Smash that like button. Yes. Smash that like button. We're at 75 likes here on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Incredible show so far. Appreciate you guys. I'm surprised I'm still here. It's been a long show, hour 47. I'll probably go for another 15 minutes as the chat starts to wind down. Quasum, I did answer you, buddy. I did answer you. Please stop spamming the chat, man. Chef Rand said Terry or over London today. I would go with London over Terry today. We'll go with London over Terry. Rashad White or Patrick Taylor. Thank you in advance. Yes, thank you for jumping in. I would go with Rashad White. Pollard or Mooney in the flex. I would go with Pollard. Both guys are risky. Give me the better player in the better matchup. Minnesota or Atlanta. I would go with Atlanta. Self-reliance. I did answer this one, and you're spamming the chat again. BTJ and Hill. Evan 11 said JMO McMillan or Keenan Allen. Give me Keenan Allen. Reliance, you sent in the same question 9 times in a row, buddy. Relax. You and Quasim need to chill. Yes, I did answer this one for you, College Sports there, and I know you sent in the super chat. In case you didn't hear me, I said Ridley, and if not Ridley, it would be DK. Rodgers, Caleb, or Love. I like Rodgers. I also like Caleb. I like Love. I think I would go with Caleb over all three. I would go with Caleb over all three. Yeah, I'd go with Caleb over all three. And if not, I would go with Rodgers. Need to start one flex wide receiver: DJ Moore, Harrison, Tracy, Brian Robinson, Strange. Blah 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 blah. DJ Moore for sure. And I would go with Brian Robinson over Harrison, but if you're shooting for upside, I would take the risk and go with Harrison. So you could technically play B-Rob in the flex and DJ Moore at the wide receiver 1. But if you're shooting for more upside, I would go with Harrison over B-Rob in the flex. Thank you. We do have another super chat from Nardo. Appreciate you, man. Said, am I crazy for starting Justin Jefferson at wide receiver 1 and Jordan Addison in the flex? I know it might be raining. I'm hoping for a shootout. It is a little crazy. You're putting a lot of eggs in one basket in a bad environment. I don't love it, to be honest with you. I would start Justin Jefferson, even with the weather, but starting both guys. I mean, if you think about it, if it ends up being a low scoring game, messy and just a shit show, you could sink your week with this. And I don't know that the risk is worth the reward. It's probably too risky, in my opinion, to do this. So I wouldn't. Storman said Patrick Taylor, Dunze, or Njoku. I would go with Patrick Taylor. Baker or Jaden. Opponent has Mike Evans. That one projected win by 5. Yeah, I would go Baker. Double J, Harry Pete, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Said Cincinnati and Colts or Atlanta. I would go with Atlanta. Oh, you know what? I think I got shot back up. Sorry, guys. Sometimes that happens when I answer super chats. It pulls me right back up, and it's hard to get to where I was. Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays to you too, Hector. Thanks for jumping in. Delilah said Purdy or Darnold. I'll go with Purdy in this one. We'll go with Purdy. We're at 77 likes on YouTube, guys. If you're still here, feel free to hit that thumbs up on the show. Boonk said $2 super pick 2 Ford, Tracy, Ridley, Thielen. Yeah, I'm going with Ridley. I like him in this spot today. And I think Tracy's the riskier guy over him and Thielen, but I think he has more upside. So I would go with Ridley and Tracy, but Ridley definitely. And I could be swayed into Thielen, but Ford is odd man out here, for sure. Let's see, Pollard or Ford. Go with Pollard. Keenan Allen over these two guys as well. Strange or Kincaid. Go with Strange. Quasim said, you haven't answered my question in 20 minutes. Buddy, I answered this question like 9 times, I feel like. Please stop spamming the chat. I did answer. I said Kendre freaking Miller. Come on, dude. Listen, please. Storman said Patrick Taylor or Dunze. I go Patrick Taylor. I know it seems like I'm answering questions multiple times, guys. It's getting tough. Some people are sending the same thing, and I'm trying to go quickly and get to the next question. Matt said PPR, Judy, McMillan, Kendre Miller, Patrick Taylor. I would go with McMillan here in this spot. Week 17 D-census stash, Eagles or Bucks. I would go with the Eagles, I think. I need to take a look here and see who the Bucks play. Bucks play the Panthers. Yeah, I prefer the Eagles. Cup or Higgins. I prefer Cup. Higgins is banged up. P Dog said Darnold or Jaden Daniels. Go with Jaden Daniels. Check weather. It might be raining in Seattle. It is raining. Cube said, need your help today. Full PPR, Patrick Taylor, Romeo Dobbs. I like Romeo Dobbs, but I would go with Patrick Taylor just because you're probably getting a more consistent workload there. DJ Moore, JSN in the flex. DJ Moore for me. Um, Purdy or Jaden Daniels. I have Scary Terry. Yeah, I would go with Jaden Daniels for sure. Phil said, thank you, dude. Appreciate your time. Yeah, man. Thank you for dropping in. JT or Terry. I would go with JT. I would go with JT. Yo, what's up, bro? Ramondre or Ford? I would go with Ramondre. Good matchup. Start Rams or Bengals defense. Start the Bengals. Start the Bengals defense. Yeah, start the Bengals. All right, where are we? And we're getting close to the bottom of the chat, guys. I didn't think I could do it today. I did not think I could do it today. We're winding down here. If you have questions and I haven't answered you, please feel free to send it in again. Oh, Dylan Fink, I did answer this question. I will get to you next. And I think I answered this one for you too, N, but you might not have heard it. And I understand sometimes people pop in and pop out, so no worries. I would go with DJ Moore in the flex or wide receiver one, whatever, however you got to shake it. And then I would go with Brian Robinson, but I can understand going Harrison. Harrison's a higher risk. Brian Robinson provides a higher floor. Harrison provides higher upside. Definitely DJ Moore, and then just pick between Harrison and B-Rob, whichever one you think your risk tolerance is. Thank you and happy holidays. Yes, thank you. Dylan Fink, I did answer this one for you. I would go with Spears over Madison, maybe. I'm definitely starting Strange. I honestly, I could be swayed though. I think Madison and Spears might be okay. I would go Madison and Spears actually over Strange just because you're probably getting a minimum of 10 touches for both, and Strange over Henry, and then K9 over Ford, and Chig over Ertz. Happy holidays to you as well. Gabriel, brother, need your help. Darnold with Justin Jefferson combo or Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels. If you're wrong, you're wrong, but ride with Jaden Daniels. It's a bad weather over there in Seattle. Sean said half PPR, Bowers or Kittle. Then in the flex, JSN, Kittle or Bowers. I would go with Bowers, and I would actually go with Kittle in the flex over JSN. I would go with both tight ends. Rohan said, hello, PPR, Bucky Irving or T. Higgins. I would go with Bucky Irving just because of the T. Higgins up and down, possible blowout, and also, he's banged up a little bit this week. Trophy Stealer said Njoku, Hawkinson, or Strange. I prefer Strange over Njoku. I prefer Strange over Hawkinson. I would play it like that. You said you need to play it safe. If you need to play it safe, then go Hawkinson. I think Strange has the highest upside, though. Colby, happy Sunday. Burrow versus Browns, Goff versus Bears. Go with Burrow. He's been hot. And Goff, I've said Goff to a couple people, but same time, Goff is also outdoors, and he's sometimes not great outdoors in the cold weather. Gabriel said, you're the man. Appreciate you, man. Colby also said also Purdy or Tua this week. Thank you. I would go with Tua over Purdy. Sean said, thank you. Appreciate your time, man. Yes, thank you. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, Sean, feel free to pop over there and hit us with that subscribe. Arian said, start 3, one wide receiver, one running back, one flex PPR. Wide receivers are Dobbs, McMillan, Harrison, Debo, flex, running back, Patrick Taylor, Madison, Walker, tight end, flex. Okay. Well, it sounds like you have to go with Ertz, right? Because you only give me one tight end. And then, okay, sorry. So you could, I guess, flex. You don't need a tight end here. One running back, one wide receiver, one flex. I'm going with Harrison. I'm going with Debo. And I am going with Kenneth Walker. Gabriel said, you're the man for helping out the community like this up to the last minute. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Really means a lot. Appreciate you guys this season. You guys have all been great. And even if you get knocked out, look, we are going to be pumping out a lot of content, a lot of NFL stuff, not just fantasy stuff this offseason. Going to do some draft profiles. We're going to do some rebuilds and looking at teams and talking about free agency, their needs, their draft needs, a lot of stuff, and also dynasty stuff. So hang with us. And we're also going to be opening up a Discord this offseason as well. Tony Too Nice said Burrow or Baker. Baker's fighting for the playoff spot. I don't know if Burrow will be down to die for the cause. Both guys are fighting for the playoff spots. I like Baker, but I think both are really good plays. Saucy said, morning for wide receiver. Can you choose 3? CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, BTJ, DJ Moore, Marv, Drake London. Okay. Definitely BTJ, CeeDee Lamb for sure. And then I would go with DJ Moore to be safe. Yeah, I would go with DJ Moore to be safe. I could see Drake London, outplaying DJ Moore, but I would go with DJ Moore. Kenny said Kincaid or Strange. I would go with Strange. Chig at the tight end or Hunter Henry. I would go with Chig. Subscribed again. Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Have a good holiday. Good luck today. AS said need 1 Pollard, Spears, or Jonnu. Half PPR will list team below. All right, go ahead and list that team. But I would go with Jonnu Smith off the top of my head. But if your team, maybe things change based on what your lineup looks like. DK or Neighbors, Ambers, Neighbors, Nantes. I know you meant Neighbors. Go with Neighbors. Drew Lock. A lot of consistent volume we've seen with Neighbors, and no, you're not spamming. It's all good. You should see. We've dealt with spam. That's not spam. You're good, man. Yeah, I would go with Neighbors though. It's a good matchup, and I mean Neighbors is getting consistently peppered with touches, so I would go with Neighbors. Nardo with another super chat. Who should I replace for Addison for? McMillan, Patrick Taylor, Ford, or Swift? I would go with McMillan here. Honestly, I would. If you're looking for safer, I would go with Patrick Taylor because I think the volume's better and I prefer him over Swift and Ford. But I would definitely be comfortable going McMillan only because, look, you have Jefferson and you have Addison. Like in a rainy game, I don't want to have to start both. But thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you so much, man. AS said Josh Allen, Amon Ra. Okay, I think this is you giving me the rest of your lineup here. And then the bench is Jonnu. Allen, Pittman, Douglas. Ooh, Douglas. So I would put Coker in for Douglas. I would switch Douglas and Coker. And then I would go with Jonnu over Pollard. Just because of the re-injury risk and no Waddle and Jonnu's been good. Good luck. You said we start 3 wide receivers. Yeah, I would start Coker over Douglas. I would go with this is close. Bills defense is number 2. Falcons are number 3 for me. Good start either way. I would go with the Bills though. Josh McCabe said Kendra Miller, Patrick Taylor, Alexander Madison. I would go with, it's becoming such my mind is blending in with Kendra Miller, Patrick Taylor talks. I like them both over Ford. To me, I think Patrick Taylor is going to be in a more competitive game and a better offense, but at the same time, Deebo Samuel might be back there. Abaconda, like Kendra Miller has no competition. So I'm going to go with Kendra Miller here. But I'm okay with Patrick Taylor. Addison. Okay. I don't know if it's Alexander Madison or Alexander and Jordan Addison. I would actually go with Madison over Taylor, but I think I would go with Kendra Miller still here. Can also pick up Tim Patrick. Nah, I think you're okay. Kendra Miller over Patrick Taylor. Yeah, I would go with Kendra Miller just because Deebo Samuel might line up at running back, and Kendra Miller doesn't have much competition back there. McMillan or Adam Thielen. I like Adam Thielen more, but I think McMillan has higher upside depending on what you're looking for. Drake May or Rush. Give me Rush. Can I trust Marvin Harrison Jr. or should I play it safe with Thielen? It depends on what you're looking at. Are you projected high? If you're projected high, I would go with Thielen. If you're in a closer matchup, I would go with Marv. Yep, I would go with Marv. Reed or Shakira? Give me Shakir. Give me Shakira. Uh, Patrick Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson. Give me Ramondre. Niners tough against tight ends. No Waddle could be key on him. Pollard, good matchup, but no practice. Yeah, that's really the thing. I mean, I love Tony Pollard. I mean, I've called my shot on him, early on in the season. I thought he was really good pickup for them, and I've liked him a lot this year. But to me, it just worries me the re-injury possibility. He left the game early a couple weeks ago. He left early yesterday, and last week, and Spears looked good last week. So I think they might get Spears more involved and not risk it. So go with your gut though. Tracy or Madison, go with Tracy. Bengals or Lions defense for week 16 and week 17. So I have the Lions defense ahead of the Bengals, but I think Bengals are a good start too, at least for this week. And then for next week, when we look ahead here, Bengals at Broncos, I don't really love that. But let's see who the Lions play. Lions at 49ers. I would go with the Lions against the 49ers, to be honest with you. uh, you know, Denver doesn't take a lot of sacks. Bo Nix, you know, didn't turn the ball over last week, but the week before that, he had 2 interceptions. I would go with the Lions though, for this week and for next week. To be honest with you, Sean, defense, Bengals or Lions for week 16. Oh, this is the same. I didn't realize. Sorry. Sam said full PPR start one. Kenneth Walker, Sharps, Rico, or Brian Robinson. I like B Rob over Kenneth Walker. I like B Rob over Rico Dowdle. I would go with B Rob. Josh, would you go with Spears over Miller? I would go with Miller. I would still go with Miller over Spears. It's close, but um, it's just too. You're talking. I mean, if Pollard could magically might just get a big workload, and we all might be fucking pissed about it because, I mean, he's playing. It's just risky the re-injury thing. But I would go with Miller over him. But it is a good matchup for Spears, and I think that game will be more competitive. But Miller should get the workload, so I would go with Miller. ETN, Tracy, or Patrick Taylor. I like ETN this week, but I would go with Tracy over ETN, and I would go with both of them over Patrick Taylor. London or Thielen, non-PPR. I'm willing to roll the dice with London here. I do like Thielen this week, but I prefer London. Here's a dilemma: Goff and cold weather versus Bears or Darnold. Yeah. Honestly, I would still go with Goff. I'd still go with Goff. Yeah, I would. Seattle's got a good defense. I would go with Goff. But go with your gut. Matt, pick one PPR, Judy, McMillan, Patrick Taylor, Kendre. I would go with McMillan in this spot. If you don't want the risk, I would go with Kendre, though. In terms of, I think he provides a higher floor. Alfred said JSN or Watson in the flex. I still prefer JSN, I think, this week. I think that'll be a more competitive game even in the rain. Shakir or Thielen. Give me Shakir over Thielen this week. Danny, yes, appreciate you, man. I think that's going to do it for me, guys. Just hit the 2-hour mark. Thank you so much for everybody that came out today. It's been a great stream. If you haven't subscribed, and if you haven't hit that like button, we had 76 likes today. Feel free to hit that like button. Bones, I'll get to you. Non-PPR pick 2, T. Higgins, Neighbors. I would go with Neighbors and T. Higgins here. That's going to do it for me, guys. Good luck in your matchups, and I will see you guys next time.